After his arrest yesterday, McCall's bond was set at $9,500. He couldn't pay and spent the night in jail.
Kevin Lamar McCall Jr., or simply Kevin McCall, born July 25, 1985. Today's feature is the story of how a talented artist that came from nothing somehow found his way to success, and working with one of the biggest artists in the world, made millions with or for him, according to Chris Brown.
Thank you, K-Mac. I bought this with your money. I bought this with your money. I was thinking about giving you this, but you're a bitch. But I bought this with your money too.
Then literally blew it all time and again. And not just the money, but most importantly, the opportunity he's been seeking that most pursuing the same never get. The world was first made notice of Kevin McCall when Chris Brown released the song Deuces featuring Tyga and McCall back in 2010 that became highly successful on the Billboard charts, becoming the highest song on the charts for Brown the entire year, peaking at 14 and #1 in hip-hop and R&B. It sold over 3 million copies in just the US alone, becoming a certified hit song, written and produced largely by McCall himself. He not only wrote on it and produced it, he was actually featured on the song as well, giving the new artist the light that literally gave him his industry start. In this position alone, McCall had done enough to finally say he was officially in the music business as a writer, producer, rapper, and collaborator with one of the industry's biggest artists that was on fire at the time. Playing his position correctly could have led to many more opportunities to at least make tons of money while giving you the best platform to showcase yourself as a singer or rapper, or just play the background, keep collecting checks of the future work with Brown, and sail off into whatever sunset you choose. For a while, this plan was being executed as Brown and McCall would collaborate a few more times with songs like Strip and No BS, both cracking the top 100, Strip going 2 times platinum, again featuring a rapping McCall. 3 hit songs under his belt at least, where he was vocally all across them in some fashion, but all that wasn't enough to keep McCall from crashing out literally in the end, making poor decision after poor decision, completely souring the relationship with Brown, who signed McCall to his CBE label and got him his pretty much verbal deal with RCA. The two engaged in a social media and interview back and forth, with Brown promising to get him pretty much blackballed across the industry, and that's exactly what happened. Kevin McCall hasn't released an official single since 2020, and since his 2012's Naked, nothing has charted or made relevance anywhere in music. The only time he's shown up since is in a messy breakup and child custody battle with Eva Marcille, or being arrested and making a fool of himself and the opportunities he was given. He could have been a huge artist in R&B or rap or behind the scenes, but for these reasons, that never happened. What did? Let's talk about it. Salute to Neo Valentine on IG for this request. It's your boy JC StuntedGrowthMusic. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Kevin McCall is a singer, songwriter, producer, and rapper from Los Angeles, California. At 13 years old, he was saved after becoming a Christian and taking part in the church choir, where he taught himself to play the piano. He grew up focusing on the athlete's journey through track and field and football, which his entire family on his father's side played at high levels in college, and used that to earn an offer from Washington State, where he played tailback the next 4 years. But music was still his passion, picking that up from his mother's side of the family. After college, he decided to reach out to a few industry contacts he knew or found from looking at writing credits on the back of albums, and one thing led to another and he became connected to Chris Brown. He started off a writer and producer for Chris when one day he gave him the song Deuces to listen to, which McCall wanted to keep for himself. Chris offered he could stay on the song, but made clear he wanted it for his joint album with Tyga as the lead single. McCall gave it up and agreed to publishing on the back end, and finally, as a musician, Kevin McCall was on. Stunt number 1, Public Feud with Chris Brown. First off, there's no question Kevin McCall was a talented individual that was multifaceted and multi-layered in sports and in music. He wrote, produced, or was featured on some very important songs for Chris Brown that helped Brown survive crucial times for his career beginning the 2010s. Some fans even believe collaborating with McCall was Brown's greatest collaborations in that the two seemed to be perfect for each other business-wise. Chris was the face and the vocals, and McCall was the talent behind it that also could step out front and play lead role when his number was called. But that's where I think the problems began. Kevin has always felt like his own man and artist, so moving on Chris's time was difficult for him to do without his career moving in the direction he wanted. First off, he never wanted to be considered a rapper, but when he wrote the song Deuces, he included a verse with him rapping at the end, but when Chris got a hold of the song, that's the only part he kept of McCall, who, as mentioned, he promised to keep him on. McCall became known as that, and it didn't help that on Strip, he rapped once again. Chris wanted him to represent for the grown and sexy but thuggish side of R&B, but couldn't figure out the right time to develop that idea. As time went by and no movement on McCall's career, he became frustrated and approached Brown, who by then had signed McCall to his imprint CBE through RCA. After expressing his displeasure to Chris, Brown explained to him that he could only do so much for him, saying, quote, "I can put you out there, but I can't make the fans fall in love with you. You need to do that yourself." McCall took that and began making his own moves, one a song with Keke Palmer, which Chris Brown didn't like, and let Kevin know just as much over the phone in what Kevin describes as a disrespectful tone and words. He decided to attack Chris Brown on social media, and a back and forth ensued, with street threats thrown around and Chris literally telling him he's going to make sure the label or no one ever messes with him again. In hindsight, that's exactly what happened. Stunt number 2, make another breezy.
If this nigga wrote all these songs that he claiming he wrote, why he ain't write no more? Oh wait.
Make Another Hove was coined by Jay-Z in response to Dame Dash, and some fans claiming Dash made Jay-Z also referred to Hove, who he became, leading to Jay responding by saying, "Well, since you made me, now that I left, make another me if you're that important to who I am." During the feud with Chris Brown, McCall and his fans did the same by claiming Kevin was the ghost behind the writings of Chris's best songs in their minds, so Chris responded by asking him, why hasn't he made a hit since Brown and RCA disconnected their ties? Kevin McCall would in fact never make a song of his own that came anywhere to the Billboard charts as a lead singer, writer, nor feature. 2012, while he was unofficially signed to RCA, his first and last placement. I say unofficially because Kevin himself revealed that RCA was really doing a favor for Brown by representing Kevin while never officially signing him. Kevin, in my opinion, put himself in a weird place feuding with Brown publicly, where he felt he couldn't rectify the situation with conversation, but leaving Brown would certainly signify the end of his career with all the power Brown had in their business relationship. Everything McCall did was through Chris Brown, including his publishing contracts for his music. This meant Chris really controlled his music future. When the relationship took a turn, McCall saw just how little he could do without being on Brown's good side. He did interviews about it, subliminally dissing Chris, calling him Lil Bro, and inviting him to the hands and acts of violence, all as he said to create buzz and feed his daughters. Wrong idea and poor execution. Make Another Breezy never happened, and from music, time faded him away. Stunt number 3, making a fool of himself.
Mind your business. I'm not FaceTime. I'm recording on my phone. You ain't got nothing. What you putting your down for, sir? I'm talking to you.
After research of Kevin McCall, I have to conclude that in my opinion, we're talking about a narcissist who may even be mentally unstable, as many fans on the internet believe, although I just think he has the wrong perception of fame and creating buzz. To me, he's seen the formula of artists promoting a violent energy and feuding online lead to attention and ultimately success by being booked more often and labels prioritizing you more, and decided that route was best to take. But to all young artists, it never works out when you feud with the person that put you on, who's much more famous than you, no matter if you're right or wrong. Stand up for yourself, yes, but there's a time, place, and right way to do so. And the first step is making sure your business is in order from day one. That way, from the get-go, no one can take from you or control your career and send it plummeting like Brown clearly did to McCall. Since then, Kevin has been arrested for the most foolish reasons, like getting into a fight with security at a courthouse he was attending for custody of his child with Eva Marcil. How do you go to fight for your child while showing in the courthouse you're not nowhere near stable or fit to even be responsible for a child when you are in fact still a child mentally? He was also ordered to pay an ex-girlfriend $1.5 million for assaulting her as she drove on the freeway, punching her head into the car window because she allegedly asked him not to smoke in the car. With no music career to speak of and fighting to be in his kid's life, Kevin continued to make a fool of himself with his arrogant actions, a reason Chris in his rant says is really why no one wanted to work with him. All in all, Kevin McCall fumbled the bag, literally. He even went on BET and explained how he did it in self-deprecating fashion that I'm not sure who told him that was a good look. But attention is all a narcissist craves, good or bad, and one with mommy issues will definitely seek all he could get. He had the greatest opportunity a singer could get, but fumbled it right at the goal line for these reasons. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.